I know you can't answer this question to me, but I was just wondering whether you tried doing storytelling and were you stopped saying, don't tell me a story, yeah, or you just believe that storytelling will not be acceptable. So I'm going to take both these options. So let's start by saying that you believe that storytelling is not going to be acceptable because no one in your organization has done it before. Then I guess you have to go and be what Mahatma Gandhi had said to us, right? Be the change you want to see in everyone and start it out. Yeah. And you don't have to start it out in your first presentation to the CEO. Start it out in your team. And as people get to see that using stories, your messages and is far more easy to understand and easier to remember, you will get more and more people understanding the power of it. Now, that's if you assume that storytelling would not be important. Let's say you tried storytelling and you were stopped by a senior saying, ye kahani mat batao, yeah, which is what we've heard many times. Then perhaps what you need to learn is two things. One is, how do you tighten your story? Yeah? Because in business, you can't tell a story that is all over the place. And so you need to find a way to tighten the story. And I'm going to spend 2 minutes to tell you how you can do that. And the second thing is that do not use the word story when you're telling a story, which is, don't start by saying, let me tell you a story. You don't have to do that. If you just go on saying, this reminds me of, the brain knows that's a story, but you haven't triggered the labeling. Yeah. The problem is not with storytelling. The problem is the label in many corporates that we have put to stories. So, so the answer to if you've been asked not to tell a story, so A, don't use the story word. B, tighten your story. And yes, of course, C, do not use the storytelling voice. It was a dark day in December when the client walked in. We are not into performance storytelling. So if you leave those out and tighten your story, how do you tighten stories? One, tell the story to 3-4 people before your presentation and just see what feedback they give you. And with that, you'll automatically tighten. The second is write down the story you just said, and then take a pen like a surgeon takes a knife and go through each word and each sentence in your story and see what can you get rid of and still pass the message in. And then you have a tight story. And I think if you do these two, then you should be good to go. Thanks.